Hello traders, welcome back to another video. RALLYTOP Investing here. I'm super excited to welcome you guys to this brand new video series titled Let's Analyze Together. Now, what is Let's Analyze Together? Well, it is about critically examining the major currency pairs in the market and what we expect price to do during the course of the week, so that it can give you a better understanding, a better information on how you can approach the market every single week. Now, every Sunday night, you are going to be having Let's Analyze Together to help you get prepared for the week coming. All right? And we hope that by this weekly analysis, you'll be able to understudy and master the way we analyze the market and the way we take our trades at RALLYTOP. All right, with that being said, let's go right into our discussion today. Now, before we start, let me recommend these two things to you. You need those two things as a trader. Now, the first one is, before you ever open your chart at the beginning of the week, please ensure that you check the news calendar. Go to Forex Factory and check the news calendar. Why do you need to do this? It's because you will get yourself abreast with the major news that are likely to happen within the course of the week that could possibly affect your or the currency pairs that you want to trade for that week. Very important. Secondly, you need a currency strength meter. You never want to trade without looking at the currency strength meter. Very important. As a trader, you want to make money in the forex market. When you trade weak currencies against strong currencies, that's the only way you can make money in the forex market. All right, I want you to get a currency strength meter to help you do that. I have one here which was developed by me and it is custom made for me. All right, it's been pretty much very effective since I started using it. Now, as you can see, we have the dollar. The US dollar is the strongest currency as we speak now. All right, and you can see it shooting up, and some other currencies are clearly crashing when you compare or when you want to trade them against the US dollar. Very important, guys. So you need to get one for yourself. With that being said, let's jump right into our analysis today. Now, we are going to start with DXY. As you can see, let's start from the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame. All right. And now, as you can see, the DXY, well, it's been pretty much in a bullish run. All right. And we want to trade with the trend. We do not have any reason whatsoever to trade against the trend. So we want to follow the trend and trade with the trend. All right. Now, if you look at your left, if you look to the left, you find out that there is this weekly POI here, and the top of that weekly POI. Now, as you can see, DXY still have, in my own opinion, some room to still push higher up to this point. Up until this point, dollar index still have some room to move higher. All right, so what are we looking for in DXY? Well, because we want to remain bullish, and so we need to identify our areas of demand on the chart, all right, or in the market. That's what we are expected to do. All right, now the weekly time frame may not give us much information, but perhaps we could go to the daily time frame and look at what the daily is doing. And as you can see, the daily time frame has clearly broken structure here to the upside. All right, it has clearly broken structure to the upside, and still yet we do not have much information that we can work with. But if we go to the 4-hourly time frame, let's get to the 4-hourly time frame and see whether we can get a more better information to work with. Now, on the hourly time frame, you can see clearly, all right, that price has broken the structure here to the upside. Can you see that, guys? Price has broken structure there to the upside, and with that being the case, to the upside, with that being the case, we have our 4-hour POI somewhere here. All right, you can see that 4-hour POI somewhere there, and price came, tapped perfectly into the 4-hour POI before rallying up, and as it rallied, it also break another structure here. All right, we need to understand that it broke another structure there on the 4-hour. Now, if you pick your fib tool, all right, and you drag it from the low, because we are buying, you drag it from the low to the high, all right, you will find out that this demand zone here, which it actually look very attractive, is invalid. Why? Because it is above the discount zone. We want to buy only from the discount, since we are since it is a bullish trend. We want to buy from discount, and so therefore you can see that the most valid OB will be this OB here, even though it is a very, very huge candle, but that is your OB, and so this should be your most valid OB that you can look to take trade from, all right, on DXY. Now, so what you are expecting within the week is a retracement, and as you can see, price is about to start retracing. You need to see a retracement to this very point of interest here to take price higher. All right, well, it is not all the time that price will do our bidding. All right, if this price now decides to go higher, for instance like this, it decides to go higher, no problem about that at all, guys. We can still, all right, take price and wait for price to go higher and then come down to this very point of interest here before we can take price higher. That is what we want to see on DXY as the market opens this coming week. Sorry, guys, ignore that. I didn't mean to do that. All right, and so just a minute, guys. And so we expect the market to do just exactly the way we have looked at on the 4-hour time frame. But if we go to the H1 time frame, perhaps we could get a better information. Now, as you can see on the H1 time frame, price has also broken structure here to the upside. All right, price has broken structure here to the upside. All right, and so what we are expecting there, therefore, on the H1, we need to take cognizance of that. On the H1, now, as you can see, it left this week. This week here took out the low here. All right, it took out the low of this candle here. What does that tell us? It tells us that this week, if you go to your lower time frame, will be a point of interest. So you can mark that one out as your H1 point of interest, where you expect price to come down into this H1 point of interest before moving higher. That is a possibility in the market. All right, so these are my views concerning the DXY. Essentially, what we are expecting the DXY in this coming week is for DXY to make a pullback, to make a retracement down to either the H4 OB, all right, or the H1 OB before rallying higher. All right, so much for DXY. Now, let's get to check euro dollar weekly time frame. Let's go to the weekly first to be able to understand what euro dollar is doing. All right, now as you can see, let's start first by looking at structure. As you can see, price rallied up from here. All right, this is a valid it broke structure here. Let's get that straight so that we don't get ourselves it broke structure here to the upside. Right now, when it broke structure, remember there's this minor structure breaks here. Whatever you can call it is a minor structure break here. All right, you can see this minor structure break. All right, now where is our weekly point of interest? Is here, guys. This is our weekly point of interest. All right, that's our weekly point of interest. That's what we are looking for potential reaction. All right, so now this is our weekly point of interest. This is the origin block that gave rise to this high here, and as you can see, price tickled back right into this weekly point of interest. Now what do we expect? Well, this is weekly. Let's get to the daily and see what the daily is doing. All right, now on the daily time frame of euro USD, we can see it is much more clearer on the daily. Now we can clearly see that there is a break of structure here. All right, there is this break of structure, and after that break of structure, all right, price pulled back down here, and price came to this low and failed to close below this low here. All right, can you see that, guys? So meaning that this low, this very low, is still intact. It failed to close below this low here. All right, it failed to close below that low. Can you see that, guys? Now it went back up to mitigate out of something here. I don't know, but let's get to H4 to see what it mitigated out from. All right, let's see H4, what it mitigated out from. This is the daily break of structure, and as you can see, price came here, pulled back up, all right, and then dropped to form this low. This low is critical, guys. This low is critical because why did price come suddenly to this low and pull back up? It's critical for us. Now as you can see, when price came back down, it failed to take out that low. Instead, it went back up. Now it went back up to mitigate out of this position here, out of this OB here. Check, it went up to mitigate out of this OB. All right, it went up to mitigate out of that OB, guys. Take a look at it. All right, just a minute, guys. Sorry, sorry, it's not, sorry, it is this OB here, it's not that OB. All right, ignore that. Now price actually rallied up. All right, as you can see, price rallied up, right, and created equal highs here. Check this equal highs. What do you think is resting above these equal highs? What do you think is there? These equal highs. Now money is sitting above these equal highs. All right, and when price went back to create these equal highs, it now dropped, still failed to take out this low here. So what am I expecting this coming week for euro dollar on the H4? Well, I want to see price take this low here. I want to see price take this low. All right, grab all the liquidity resting below this low, and perhaps when go back up to take out the liquidity resting above these equal highs here. All right, that's what I'm expecting before price will now drop to the downside. All right, that is what I'm expecting price to do this coming week. I want to see a further push down to take out this very low here, all right, and then push up, perhaps to grab all the liquidity here before further continuation to the downside. All right, guys, that is what I'm expecting from euro dollar. But now let's check the H1 time frame and see if we have any opportunity for trade setup this week on the H1. Now let's take this one out. Let's take this one out. Okay, so as you can see on the H1, price broke structure here, all right, price broke structure here, all right, and perfectly returned to this OB here. Can you see that? It perfectly returned to the OB there to mitigate out of that OB, as you can see, and price dropped aggressively. Now breaking structure again. When it fell, it broke the structure again. All right, we are essentially trading structure and shift of structure in the market, guys. Now it broke that structure again. Now as you can see, price is rotating back up to, in my opinion, to go and mitigate out of this OB here. All right, to mitigate out of that OB there. So in my opinion, I'm expecting price in this, as price will be opening up. I want to see this week that price pushes up into this H1 OB here, and before further drop to the downside. All right, so that's what I'm expecting from the H1 of euro USD. So much for that, guys. Let's get to the GBP USD GU. Let's check GU, what GU is doing on the weekly time frame first. Let's get to the weekly time frame first. All right, as you can see, this is the weekly time frame of GBP USD. Now as you can see, price is rotating back down. All right, now as price is coming down on the weekly time frame, all we can see is that price is pretty much coming down on the weekly time frame. Where is it going to? Well, we do not have so much information about that here, but we can see some pretty much good areas to think that price can react off of these areas. On the weekly time frame, we can see that demand zone on the weekly time frame. All right, so perhaps we are expecting, because price has taken out these lows here, and so we are expecting price perhaps to come down into this weekly point of interest before we can see any retracement, in my opinion. That's what I'm thinking. But let's get to the daily time frame and see whether we have a better information about what price is about to do. As you can see on the weekly, on the daily time frame, now price broke structure here to the downside. Can you see that, guys? Now price has broken that structure to the downside, leaving this point of interest here, this daily point of interest. Can you see that? This daily point of interest, it left it there. All right, now like I told you when we were on the weekly time frame, I said I'm expecting price to perhaps drop to this POI here before pushing up to mitigate out of this OB for further drop to the downside. Well, we trade what we see in the market. Now if in the course of the week price decides to pull back somewhere around here, well, our target is to find price come into this daily POI for a further push downward. As you can see, GBP USD, like Euro USD, is pretty much bearish, so we want to trade with the trend. All right, we have no reason just yet to start trading a counter trend. But one good thing about smart money concept is this: you can trade from both sides of the market. All right, you can trade pro trend, you can trade a counter trend trade if you understand what you are doing. But if you are new to trading, please avoid a counter trend trade. trade only with the trend. All right. So if you have experience when it's pulling back, when this price is pulling back, you can decide to take a counter trend trade if it meets your trading condition. I mean your entry condition. Don't forget about that. It must meet your entry criteria for you to take a counter trend trade. All right. So we go ahead. So we are expecting price in the course of the week to pull back to this daily OB for a further drop to the downside. But let's get to the 4 hour. Do we have something new on the 4 hour that we can work with now? Well, sorry guys, ignore that, please. Ignore that. All right. So you can refine your OB on the H4 time frame. You can refine your daily OB to this tiny OB here on the H4 time frame. But I like to leave my POI the way it is and then refine my POI on the lower time frame inside the higher time frame POI. That's the way I like to do mine. But it's all up to you what you want to do. Now let's get to the 1 hour time frame and see if we have any opportunity to enter trades on the 1 hour time frame while we are expecting price to get back to this our daily POI. Now as you can see, in my own opinion, price has dropped. All right, in my own opinion, all right, based on my trading plan, this is a valid pullback. All right, this is a valid pullback, and this is a break of structure. Well, you can call it a minor break of structure. Nevertheless, it is still a break of structure, and we need to take that into consideration. All right, so what are we expecting on the 1 hour time frame? Well, since market has broken structure here to the downside, this is your valid OB. All right, this is an OB that you need to work with. All right, on the 1 hour time frame. So what you are expecting to see is for price to get into this your 1 hour. Sorry guys, you expect price to come into this your 1 hour POI. I mean 1 hour, yeah, POI or OB, and you want to see a further push downward. All right, that is the way I will approach the market as the market is opening this coming week. But please remember that your higher time frame POI or OB is not for your entry at all. Your higher time frame POI is just a guide. When price gets to your higher time frame POI, I expect you to drop down to the lower time frames like the 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute to look for your lower time frame entries or lower time frame setup to take your trades from. All right, but please do not drop from D1, from daily time frame to M1 to want to enter a trade directly from M1, because you can be lost in the noise that will happen on the M1 time frame. I want you to go systematically. Even if you are going to take your trade from the M1, please be systematic about your approach to the M1 entry. All right, if you are new to trading, please take note of that. All right guys, that is about GU. And the next pair we want to look at is AUD USD, AU weekly time frame. All right, AU weekly time frame. Let's look at that quickly and see what price is doing. Now as you can see on the weekly time frame, price was moving higher, and this is our last higher low, and price broke through that higher low. All right, and since then it has been making higher high, I mean lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. This is our last low, and price has broken this structure here to the upside guys. Clearly price has broken structure. What's happening to me? Sorry guys, I picked a wrong tool. Excuse me for that. And price has broken this structure here to the upside. All right, has broken structure to the upside. Now, as you can see, this is the order block on the weekly time frame that gave rise to that break of structure, as you can see. All right, well, price is approaching that order block. All right, and it's approaching that order block. We don't know if this block is going to hold price or not. We can never know. All right, we trade what we see, but look at the, let's check. Don't forget that peradventure, if this doesn't hold, if this block doesn't hold, perhaps because of this relatively equal lows here, perhaps we can also look at this point of interest here. We can look at this point of interest here, guys. All right, it's a valid point of interest that we can look at for price to come into, because price broke structure here. All right, price broke structure here to the upside, and we can expect price perhaps to come into this very POI before reacting. That is, in case this block doesn't hold. We can never know. All right, so we go to the daily time frame and see whether we can have a clearer picture on the daily time frame. Yes, as you can see, price is already here on this OB here. All right, on the daily time frame, there is this OB here that we can work with right now, right away. There is this OB here we can work with. Can you see that, guys? There is that OB here, and price has come into that OB. But take a look at the momentum of this candle. All right, it's suspicious, right? Very suspicious. Well, we can never tell. But if this holds price, if the daily POI holds price, then we are expecting price to now rotate back or pull back up into this very OB here. All right, into this very OB here for a, we want to see price go back into this OB here on the daily time frame. You can see we're expecting, if price reacts off of this daily point of interest, we want to see it go back there for a further push to the downside. All right, that is what we are expecting AU to do on D1 time frame. All right, but in case that's what we're expecting anyway on the D1 time frame. All right, but let's get to the H4 time frame to see what we have. All right, now on the H1 time frame, let's still work on this H4 time frame, H4 POI. All right, you can see clearly on the H1 that price has broken structure to the downside. All right, confirming this H4 POI. Now you can refine your POI to this tiny, if you so desire. I use the word if you so desire because I have a way I refine my, so you can refine your OB to this point here. All right, you can refine it to that point there. So what you are expecting price to do this week, if this OB, if this point of interest holds, you are expecting price to go back into that place for a further push downward. All right, that is what I am expecting from AU. Sorry guys, H4 excuse me guys, H4 time frame. I'm sorry, I was referring to H1. It's H4 time frame. That's what we are expecting from the H4 time frame to do. All right, so let's check the H1 now. I was mistakenly calling H1. Now let's check the H1 now. Do we have any new thing on the H1 that we can capitalize on? Well, we do not have, except that you can refine your OB to this point of interest here. All right, if you so desire, you can refine it to this point of interest and wait for price to come back, to retrace back and tap into the H1 OB or H4 OB for a further move downward. Okay, guys, that is how far we can go for this week. All right, I promise you that in subsequent editions of this our Let's Analyze Together, we'll be looking at more pairs, or analyze on more pairs than just these 4 pairs. All I want you to do is please support us, subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends. All right, here is where we'll draw the curtain. But don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give us a like, very important, and share this video with your friends and families. And for those who are yet to subscribe to our channel, please do so just immediately. All right, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of the series that is coming your way. All right, guys, have a very, very wonderful day.